In episode 1, we went inside the most isolated prison in America, a concrete tomb buried beneath the Colorado Rockies, where men spend 23 hours a day in silence. In episode 2, we entered La Sabaneta, a Venezuelan hellhole where the inmates ran the asylum, and violence wasn't the exception. It was the currency. Both of those were extreme. Both of those were brutal in their own way. But this one is different. Because this isn't chaos. This isn't neglect. This is a system, cold, deliberate, and engineered from the ground up to make sure that the people inside never, ever leave. This is Black Dolphin Prison, and this is the Forgotten Archive. The official designation is IK6. That stands for Corrective Colony Number 6. But no one calls it that. Everyone calls it Black Dolphin. It sits in Soliletsk, a small, unremarkable town in southern Russia, roughly 900 miles southeast of Moscow, right on the border with Kazakhstan. The climate out here is unforgiving. Winters drop to -30 Celsius. Summers climb above 40. The steppe stretches out in every direction, flat and empty for hundreds of miles. There is nowhere to run, which is, of course, the point. The name comes from a sculpture at the entrance, a dolphin, painted black, built by prisoners themselves years ago. No one knows exactly why they made it, or why they chose that animal, or why they painted it black. It just appeared. And the name stuck. It might be the only thing at this facility that isn't trying to break you. Black Dolphin is Russia's most secure prison. It holds the country's worst offenders. Every single one serving a life sentence with no possibility of parole. Terrorists, serial killers, mass murderers, war criminals, cannibals. It houses over 700 inmates, all lifers, all considered too dangerous for any other facility in the Russian Federation. This is where Russia sends people it has decided the world is better off forgetting. What makes Black Dolphin different from ADX Florence, which we covered in episode 1, isn't just the security level. It's the philosophy behind it. ADX Florence is about isolation, sensory deprivation. You are alone, and that is your punishment. Black Dolphin is about something else. It's about total, constant, suffocating control. You are never alone. You are always watched. And every rule, every protocol, every minute of your day has been designed to remind you of one thing. You are no longer a person with agency. You are a body being managed. Let me walk you through what a day looks like inside. Wake up is early. You're allowed 8 hours of sleep, but only during designated hours. Guards patrol every 15 minutes around the clock. If you're found asleep outside those hours, you're woken immediately, every time, without exception. When you are moved, to the shower, to the exercise yard, to a meeting, you walk bent at the waist, hands clasped behind your back, eyes fixed on the floor. At all times, 2 armed guards flank you. 1 holds you by the arm. This isn't just procedure, it's deliberate. You are kept looking down so you can never map the layout of the facility. You cannot plan what you cannot see. Your cell is small. There are cameras inside. Guards observe you through a window at all times during waking hours. You are watched while you eat, while you use the toilet, while you try to sleep. There is no moment of privacy, not one. Twice a day you're allowed outside. But outside means a small concrete enclosure. A cage, really, open to the sky, but surrounded by walls so high that all you can see is a narrow rectangle of gray above you. You can have visitors. But to visit someone at Black Dolphin, your family has to travel to one of the most remote towns in southern Russia, spend money they likely don't have, and then sit across from you on the other side of double-paned bulletproof glass and speak through a phone receiver. No contact. No embrace. Many inmates have gone years without a visit. Some have gone decades. There are no rehabilitation programs at Black Dolphin, no courses, no therapy, no gradual re-entry planning. Because re-entry isn't the goal. Russia abolished the death penalty in 1996 under pressure from the Council of Europe. But abolishing execution doesn't mean abolishing punishment. Black Dolphin is what you get instead of a death sentence. Not death, but the slow, methodical erasure of everything that comes with being alive and free. So who exactly ends up in Black Dolphin? I want to go through a few of the names, not to sensationalize. If you've been following this channel, you know that's not what we do here. But because understanding who these people are gives you a clearer picture of what kind of place this is and why Russia built it. Mikhail Popkov, former police officer, convicted of 83 murders. Between 1992 and 2010, Popkov used his position as a law enforcement officer to gain the trust of women, predominantly late at night, often after they'd been drinking, and then killed them. He operated for nearly 20 years before he was caught. He believed he was cleansing society, that the women he targeted deserved what happened to them. He is considered one of the most prolific serial killers in recorded history. He is now in Black Dolphin, where he will die. In September 2004, a group of armed militants seized School No. 1 in Beslan, North Ossetia. They took over 1,100 people hostage, the majority of them children. The siege lasted 3 days. When it ended, 334 hostages were dead. 186 of them were children. Several of the surviving perpetrators were sentenced to life in prison and transferred to Black Dolphin. They are still there. Alexander Spasivtsev is one of the more disturbing cases in Black Dolphin's population. Convicted of the murders of at least 19 people in the 1990s, mostly homeless individuals and children in Siberia. His crimes went undetected for years, in part because his victims were people society had already forgotten. The homeless, runaways, kids no one was looking for. The details of what he did are not something I'm going to fully describe here. What I will say is that the nature of the crimes placed him firmly among the worst cases in modern Russian criminal history. He has been in Black Dolphin for over 2 decades. In March 2010, 2 suicide bombings struck the Moscow metro during rush hour. 40 people were killed. Over 100 were injured. Nursultan Nabiev was convicted as one of the key organizers of the attack. He was in his mid-20s at the time of sentencing. Life imprisonment. Black Dolphin. These are just a few of the names. There are over 700 more behind those walls. Some of them are household names in Russia. Some of them were never reported in the Western press. All of them share one thing. A court decided, with the full weight of Russian law, that they should never again be part of the world outside those walls. Now, and I think this part matters, there is a genuine debate about what Black Dolphin represents. On one side, you have the Russian state's position. This is a legitimate, functioning maximum security prison. Inmates receive food, medical care, and structured daily routines. Journalists have been allowed inside. Documentaries have been filmed. There are no mass graves here, no guards running execution squads. Compared to La Sabaneta, which we covered last episode, this is, by certain definitions, orderly. On the other side, human rights organizations have raised serious concerns for years. The constant surveillance, the forced bent-waist walking, the complete psychological isolation. Critics argue this isn't just secure detention. It's a slow, systematic destruction of the human mind. Memorial, Russia's most prominent human rights organization, before it was forcibly dissolved by the government in 2021, documented patterns across Russian penal colonies for decades. Their argument was that certain conditions in facilities like Black Dolphin crossed the line from security measures into something closer to psychological torture. It's a line that's genuinely hard to draw, and it's one that different people in different countries are going to draw differently. What I'll say is this: the conditions at Black Dolphin are extreme, but the people inside committed acts that were also extreme, in many cases, almost incomprehensibly so. Does the severity of a crime justify any level of punishment? Does a state have the right to essentially erase a person from existence without ending their life? Is permanent, total incarceration more humane than execution? Or is it something worse? These aren't rhetorical questions. They're the questions that sit at the heart of every conversation about criminal justice, punishment, and what a society owes, or doesn't owe, even to its worst members. I don't have clean answers. I don't think anyone does. Black Dolphin Prison will likely never close. The men inside will likely never leave. Somewhere in Soliletsk, beyond the barbed wire and the concrete and the frozen steppe, over 700 people are waking up right now to another day that looks exactly like the last one, and the one before that, and everyone that will come after. No headlines, no updates, no release dates. Just time. That's the Forgotten Archive. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. If you missed episode 1 on ADX Florence or episode 2 on La Sabaneta, both are linked on screen now. Subscribe if you want to go further into the places and stories that history tends to leave behind. I'll see you in the next one.